Hey, Disturbing listeners, Danielle on The Single Life. Let's watch.
Not one, but 2 kisses.
Yes.
Where do things stand today?
We have not had a date since that last date.
Why?
He keeps telling me different excuses. First, it was his car got stolen. Then it was the holidays.
Oh, bummer. Well, it didn't work out with Robert, but there's many fish in the sea, so maybe there are other non-toxic males out there that she can date. Guys with emotional intelligence that Robert exhibited. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll still date, but it doesn't sound promising.
Danielle, do you think you maybe divulged too much because you were talking about, your past with Mohamed?
I mean, I was being honest that I have these issues from the things that
I don't think she was too on it. I mean, who knows what Robert thinks, but from the look of it, he was like, oh, wow, yeah, me too. I mean, he jumped all over that. He didn't flinch at all. I mean, so who knows? But, I mean, if Robert's not interested, I wouldn't take a guess and say it was because of that. I mean, he said, yeah, I mean, she said my body wasn't good enough, my former partner. I mean, he was right there with her. So is that what people are saying, that she shouldn't have talked about the fact that Mohamed said that she smelled? I mean, I know that's supposed to be some sort of big joke, but I mean, it was an awful thing that Mohamed said, but also sometimes people smell weird. It's fine. And I think everyone has a thing about her talking about that, except for her. We should all be, to some extent, I can't believe I'm saying this, but, we could all be like Danielle and just say like, yeah, I mean, if someone said this about me, I don't know, it just really hurt my feelings. It shows a lot of confidence and differentiation and maturity to just say that, right? And me, I mean, I sort of err on the side of people want to disclose things on the first or second date or early on in dating, then go for it. But I'm wondering if the show is orienting itself towards like, Danielle, you shouldn't have said that. Shame on you.
Mohamed said. So I really don't know.
All right.
I mean, we've had fun the 2 times that we have gone out.
Do you know if Robert is seeing someone else?
As far as I know, he's not.
So you're obviously hoping there's some interest there, but we really don't know right now.
And like I said, it's possible that Robert was turned off by that. It didn't seem like it to me, but who knows? But if he was, it's a good litmus test because, if he's just going to base his entire vibe with her based on that one disclosure, then, good riddance, honestly. I've been saying this. I don't know if I've ever had this opinion until I started watching this show and being challenged with some of the attitudes that people have. But one of the things that I think I've said is if you have trouble finding quality people to date, one of the things you might do is heavily disclose or cry on the first few dates to eliminate those people that don't have vulnerability and can't hang with the reality of being a human. So if you're having trouble finding a real human to date, let it all hang out in the first few dates. And, if 9 out of 10 people say, oh, that's too much for me, like good riddance. See ya, pal.
Yes, definitely wanted to see her again. Every time we have planned something, I've had something come up. The car was stolen. That was a couple weeks. And then medical issues. I have a couple of toes that I had surgery on and it's still not fixed or better. And I know she's super busy.
Yeah, from what I understand, she's in nursing school, right? And, medical issues are no joke. So, maybe I don't know why. It just seems like they're a good couple if things could work out. So I guess I'm pulling for the 2 of them. But since we're at the tell-all and Danielle was not on season 2, do we even know what happened between the 2 of them? I'm guessing maybe on Instagram people would know, but...
You want to make it work. If you want things to progress, yes, yeah, it seems like emotionally you're on that level, but, she wants to see you. You guys got to make that connection.
We just think Danielle deserves someone who cherishes her, and for someone not to even FaceTime her since the last date months ago, like it's, if you're not available, then what's...
Did they say months ago? Interesting. Yeah. I mean, if he was, who knows? He could have significant health issues. So there could be that. But you would think that if you were really into her, you'd put in effort to see her, even if it's just for 15 minutes or something. When you're into someone, you make it happen. And it seems like, maybe he's not really into her, which is fine. When you date, there's a lot of starts and stops, if you will, and maybe this is one of the stops.
I'll be honest. I think Robert's a really nice guy, but he needs to take initiative. Danielle likes a very strong personality, for sure.
Yeah, right.
I'm very old-fashioned.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to go out on another date with him.
I think he just needs to just step his game up and really take the bull by the horns.
Yep.
Yeah, this show often has these kind of phrases. He's got to man up. He's got to take the bull by the horns. It's like, I don't... He either likes her or he doesn't. He says he's into her an 8 out of 10. Is he being honest about that? He has talked about physical issues, and maybe if we knew him and he was able to talk about it, we go, oh, whoa. Like, yeah, you do have a lot of physical issues, medical issues. That would make it hard. There also could be things that he doesn't like to talk about. He talked about how his former spouse shamed him and his body, and he has a lot of insecurities. Maybe he suffers from depression. I mean, there's all sorts of other possibilities, and just to be like, hey, dude, grab the bull by its horns, and you don't know. And, if you think he's lying, okay. But what if he's telling the truth? What if he's, he says, look, I'm an 8 out of 10 with her. I got to get to know her better. We've only had 2 dates. Yeah. And if he's telling the truth, then he just has other things that are getting in the way. Now, Danielle could be like, well, see ya. I'm sorry for what's happening with you, but I want an active partner. It's okay. But I just don't like this kind of assumption that he needs to be persuaded or pushed or inspired or something. I mean, who knows what his circumstances are? I don't know.
That she has a problem that she needs to see a doctor before she have sex with someone. No man in this life will enjoy having sex with a woman who has a bad smell.
That hurt. Because no woman should have to hear those kind of words.
I don't know if I've talked about this before. Maybe I did. It's been a while since I saw, because we've had this flashback several times. And of course, I watched the scene a while ago. But I will say that regardless of gender, that we have to be really careful. Mohamed was breaking up. And so he had a lot of things to say about her. And it's common that when we're breaking up with someone, particularly for the one leaving, we might have various different complaints rattling around in our head. And some of them might have to do with the other person's body or the way they smell or something. And we have to be extremely careful about saying those things. I've had clients who said that they went into, prior to the breakup, they had no sign of an eating disorder. And then they go through a breakup and their spouse tells them, or their, the partner that's breaking up with them says that they're too fat or something. Yeah, one of the, to be brutally honest with you, one of the reasons why I'm breaking up with you is because you gained weight. And then boom, because of the loss, and you're just like, if I was skinnier, I would have retained this person. And then it triggers this, restriction of diet or purging or something, or at least massive self-esteem tied to one's body. I mean, we have such a body shaming society that when you take a stab at someone like that, like it sticks with them sometimes. I think Mohamed just didn't think about that. I don't think he wants to destroy her, but he was trying to defend himself. And I think that can happen too sometimes. Someone might say, literally what happened here, it's like you're breaking up with someone and they're yelling at you and they're like, and you wouldn't even have sex with me, and you wouldn't, do this to me or something. And in your head, you're like, well, I didn't do that to you because of this physical problem that I don't like about you, or whatever it is that you think. There's a difference between honesty and destroying someone with your random thoughts. And So sometimes, being diplomatic about that is just, I don't know. I guess I just lost interest. I can't explain it. Some people might call it a white lie or something. I don't know. But we just have to be very aware of the fact that, particularly for women, but really anyone of any gender, I've talked with all the genders, they've all had, once we get to it, if it's a central issue or a tertiary issue, body shaming of various kinds, whether it's their body, their hair, their face, their eyes, their smell, the hair, on their body, their genitalia, the skin tone. There are women who don't wear long sleeve shirts or shorts because of their skin tone, or, they have a birthmark or something. And it is so upsetting that we have a society that just allows this body shaming and people walking around feeling like utter crap. There are people who don't even look at themselves in the mirror because of how disgusted they are with their own bodies. I mean, the destruction that we are doing to humans, it's all wrong. And she has been told that by Mohamed, because he was trying to make a point. He was trying to say, well, the reason why I stopped having sex with you, he was being accused of you're just in it for the green card. I think that's how it went. It's like, you're just in it for the green card, and that's why you stopped having sex with me, because as soon as you got the green card, then you stopped having sex with me. And he's like, no, the reason why I didn't have sex with you is because you smell. And, obviously Mohamed isn't the only person that does this kind of shaming of people, but the fact that it happens, it's a manifestation of this, and how devastating it is to her, and how it really lives with her a long time. I mean, and I guess also the way it's sensationalized on the internet about this. Anyway, what am I saying? I mean, even smells, honestly. Humans have a smell. Various humans have various different smells. And in our society, we have said all of those smells have to be erased. Your body odor, your breath, your feet, your hair, everything has just gotta go. You gotta smell like nothing. You have to smell like chemicals, not like a human, And I'm not saying that we should get rid of, deodorant or something. I don't know what exactly I'm saying, but we just have to think about all the ways in which we've just said yes to that. We've said yes to body shaming. We've said yes to, I'm gonna make jokes about people's skin tone and about their skin. I don't want to see your skin. That's disgusting. You are disgusting. You need shorts that go beyond the knees, and you smell like a terrible person, and ew, like you have bad breath, and like you got to cover that up. Like you're a disgust. I mean, just think about Darcy. Just think about Darcy, right? Like things happen to people, and we got to change it.
We think she's had closure since that last phone call with him.
It doesn't excuse it. I mean, I know people say things out of anger. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
When people want to go out on a date with Danielle and she's like, hey, I was on this TV show, and they Google her.
Yeah.
That comes up.
It's the first thing that pops up, and it's embarrassing.
It's hurtful. It's.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. These friends seem really great. We've seen a lot of friends on the show. They seem really great. They're saying hurt people. So, don't take what Mohamed said to heart. He's suffering, and he's causing more suffering. And the other thing they're saying is, if you're going to start dating and they Google you, this is the first thing that comes up, which, if that's true, I mean, my God, the internet, like really, that's what comes up? I mean, I guess the show keeps flashing back to that, and it's a big issue to her. But I'm just going to take a guess and say that, she's a three-dimensional person with a lot of different aspects. But anyway, so I hadn't thought about that you would have to get out ahead of that with someone that you're dating and say, like, so if you Google me, you're going to find this thing, and da-da-da.
And he told him only an hour because he does have to get back out on the road.
Okay. Well, we hope things are better now, Mohamed.
Yeah.
Danielle, what is it like seeing Mohamed right now?
We talk now?
Yeah.
And I just talked to him the other night.
Yes.
And we're on good terms.
It's great that the two of them can be friends. I was wondering, or just on good terms, I was wondering, the last time that they reconciled, which was really great and engineered by her friends, they got Mohamed to relent on his defensiveness, and kudos to Mohamed for apologizing. And he, I always wondered, every time those things happened, I wondered, is this just to get Danielle off his back legally so that he can stay in the States? I guess that still could be possible, but I think she's well beyond that issue. And I always wondered, like, once she relents, will he just be like, peace, I'm never going to talk to you again? But it sounds like they're still talking, which is great. That I advocate for that, case by case basis. But when we break up with people, it can be a good thing to stay in contact, to varying degrees, because one, you were really connected with them at one point, and it just seems weird to just be like, I'm done with you. Also, and again, case by case basis, obviously if they're abusive, you want to probably avoid them. But another reason is because our narratives are very important to us. If we have a relationship in the past and our narrative is extremely negative, even though there's a variety of ways we could look at that past relationship, but we've decided to look at it at a very negative way, then that makes it more damaging to us looking forward. If we look in the past and say, like, they never loved me, I'm a complete idiot for falling in love with that person, that kind of stuff, then we start dating in the future and we're like, how am I supposed to trust myself? How am I supposed to trust other people? Whereas if we have ongoing, discussions with people that we break up with, and we learn, oh, they were suffering, oh, they did love us for a while, and even when they broke up with us, they still did kind of love us, but it wasn't, they just weren't into us anymore, and that happens sometimes. And the care exhibited by staying in contact afterwards as well. That tells us a different story. Same data, same relationship, but a different story about it. It says, well, sometimes things don't work out. And we had a great few years, and then the last year, apparently, they just weren't into me in the end. And okay, it hurts, but it's a different story than I'm a complete idiot for falling in love with a sociopath who never loved me. And so I commend them for, being actual friends. I don't know if it's friends, but staying in contact with each other and repairing damage that was done.
I know she does have feelings for him. They might not be romantic, but again, they talk every day or every other day.
I think it's kind of cute. Like, you have a friend. Some days I kind of wish I had that with my ex. Most days I don't. But my only concern is, what if he starts seeing somebody?
I don't have an issue with that.
You cool?
I want him to be happy too.
Yeah, I would have suspected that Danielle would be totally fine with that. I mean, within reason, of course. Why did Colt think that it would be a big thing to Danielle? Danielle's dating. Usually when you start dating, you're like, yeah, if they, maybe I don't want to see them making out on Instagram, but the idea that they're dating is totally fine. So yeah, makes sense.
Can you see yourself being in a relationship with a woman who talks to her ex-husband every single day?
Yes, it's a little strange. Every single day, maybe a little excessive, but it's...
Molly, would you have...
Yeah, of course. These kinds of rules that I just find them to be so childish. And this show, it seems to exhibit a lot of those kinds of attitudes. What's wrong? There's nothing inherently wrong with someone talking with a former partner. If my wife talked with a former partner frequently, is that inherently bad? No. Might it be bad? Yeah, it might be bad. Might it be threatening to me? It could be. Is it inherently threatening and inherently bad? No, absolutely not. Case by case basis. Does anyone believe? Does Robert believe that Danielle and Mohamed are going to get back together? Does Robert believe that Danielle hasn't really moved on? Maybe. And I've talked about this before as well. That what other couple struggled with this? It was Corey and Evelyn. One of Evelyn's big complaints was that after Evelyn broke up with Corey left the country thinking he was never going to see Evelyn again, and met another woman, Jenny, in Peru, and they dated for a bit, and he broke up with her after a couple months or something, and a couple months later he was asked, do you still have feelings for Jenny? And he's like, well, I don't know how to answer that question. I know I want to be with Evelyn, so let's just say that. meaning that he might have some feelings for a former partner, which is, of course, a human to be. I think Robert understands that. It's just another reason why I think Robert's such a great guy. he gave a very mature, wise, positive, masculine answer, which is, well, yeah, I mean, someone talks to their former partner all the time. That's fine. Every day, I don't know, that might be a little excessive. But what are you going to do? Yeah, I really hope things work out between Robert and Danielle. Or at least I really just hope things work out for Robert. He just seems like a fantastic human being. Very mature, very, I don't know, like, it's interesting how this show, I just expect everyone to be childish and to have this very adolescent attitude about certain things, you know, because often the cast members will have this, like, you talk to your ex, you know, you're dating and you're also talking to your ex on the phone every other day. Like, that seems weird. You know, that's what a 13-year-old would say. And I don't want to even say that 13-year-olds are that way, but it rings of inexperience and of, like a Disneyland version of what romance and adult dating life is like or something, you know. It's fine, you know, people can do what they want to do, and it doesn't always mean that you're cheating or that there's something wrong or that you're still hung up on the person, you know. So good on Robert for just saying, yeah, I mean, every day might be excessive, but it's fine. Hey, deserving listeners, as y'all know, I am constantly recommending that people go to therapy. We all need therapy from time to time. Well, one of the options available that is definitely worth checking out is BetterHelp. If you're looking for a therapist, I would give it a try by going to betterhelp.com/Kirk. Make sure you use the promo code Kirk because you get 10% off your first month, and it really helps us out. As you watch these videos, I know many of you have been motivated to find your own therapist, which is great because you deserve it. And I know also that it can be hard to find a good fit, find the right one for you. Well, one of the options available in terms of your shopping is to go to betterhelp.com/Kirk. I've been told you can start communicating with your therapist in under 24 hours. You can message your counselor at any time. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. I've also been told that it's often less expensive than in-person therapy, and you should know that this service is available to clients worldwide. So go to betterhelp.com/Kirk to get 10% off your first month today.
Have an issue if Kelly talked to his ex every single day?
I would.
Okay.
Because that's time and energy that you're devoting to someone else that should be turned to me.
So it's such a simplistic way of looking at it. And again, it's that childish way of looking at it. I don't know her, and I'm not calling her childish, but it's extremely limiting. Apparently the guy's name is Kelly. So let's say that he's just really good friends with his ex. And it's just one of his friends that he has. And he's totally in love with her, I don't know her name, and showers her with love every day and also talks with a friend every day. You can have both. Talking with a friend that just happens to be a former partner doesn't negate the possibility. It only is a threat to you if your partner talked to their ex every day and it was absolutely above board and not flirty and would never lead to anything and was totally legit just friends, meaning that they support each other and depend on each other the way that people depend on each other. You know, if there was nothing threatening actually about it and you were threatened, that's on you. That's not on them. In my book, that's on you. Now, does that mean you can't talk about it? No, you can talk about it and say, hey, I'm threatened by this relationship. Can the two of you reassure me somehow? But just because you have an anxiety doesn't mean that you get to dictate the way the world works, right? Like, I'm afraid of going 60 on the freeway, even though the speed limit is 60. I don't like going 60, so I'm going to tell everyone they have to go 45 miles an hour. That's not how the world works. It's your anxiety, and you're allowed to have it, and you're allowed to ask for support around it, but you can't control everyone around you because you're afraid.
Then I'll change it, but who knows if I'm ever going to get remarried again.
Yes, okay. And Robert, is that fine with you?
Yeah, like Molly was saying, once we get more going out and more seeing each other all the time, I think that'll take away the time that she has to call him or text him.
Yeah, Robert, he's mature. He's so confident in himself that he can admit that he has self-esteem issues. So many people on the show can't admit that. They're so ashamed of themselves that they can't admit that they're ashamed. Robert has admitted that when he was on the date that we saw. He's like, yeah, I have self-esteem problems. And he's able to say, no, that doesn't threaten me. Now, some might say, well, Robert's not really into her. So, but I think, you know, if he was, I think he absolutely would be, you know, not a child about that issue. And just like, you know, I don't want to put down children. There's got to be a different word for this. Simple-minded is probably a better word for it. You know, he's not simple-minded and like, she has last name of past partner. I don't like it. I will tell her, no, that's wrong. It's like, pull your head out. Like, just think outside the box here. Like, it's not... So, and he's not like that. It's great, you know, and it's such a contrast from what we, you know, think about Angela and other people on the show. It's just like they're so short-sighted on these issues, right? And he's just like, yeah, that's fine.
Relates to Danielle?
Well, me and Danielle, we both did mistakes under a lot of pressure. So if anything came from me, from my side, that she did not like or she thought that it's hurtful or hateful or anything, I apologize for anything I did.
Thank you, Mohamed.
I mean, yeah, he unless those three friends are like helping him along, that's kind of the style of apology that he gives, which, you know, he says, if I did anything wrong, then I apologize. I mean, it's sort of acknowledging it, but, you know, not really, because he easily could say, well, I want to apologize again for talking about her body in a negative way. I should never have done that. It was completely uncalled for. I don't know. I was freaking out on the tell-all. The cameras were on, and I felt attacked, and I said something just really stupid. I don't even know if it's entirely true. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that I fell out of love with Danielle and left her. You know, I have my reasons, but I know that really hurt her, and I apologize. You know, he could have said something like that.
I see that look on your face. You're like, you're very skeptical.
Yeah, and he probably has a right to. He just seems really angry, which is, you know.
You can talk about better things. Have you ever talked about how she's getting almost straight A's on her tests and everything? Have you ever talked about that? No.
Yeah, so I will absolutely support him. Now, in what he's saying, none of us know what was in his heart in the beginning, and it is a huge question mark. As I've been saying from the beginning, did he really intend on being with her? Was he actually interested in her? Did he actually plan on being with her forever when he proposed to her or when they got engaged? Or was he just in it for the green card? Or was it somewhere in between where he, which I could imagine it being this as well, of he's like, well, I'm not in love with her, but, and I think he even said something like this, but maybe it will develop into that, and I'll give it a try, and, you know, I could see it working, but, you know, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Who knows? And we'll never know, because only he knows the answer to that question, and he's held that it was real in the beginning, although he certainly doesn't put a lot of effort into convincing us of that. He just kind of avoids the whole thing. And he's said various different things over the years, but anyway. But I will support him in what he's saying. You know, he's people, Liz and Ed, were saying, I don't think he was in love with her in the beginning, and I think that he was in it just for the green card. I think that's what Ed and Liz were saying. And he got angry. He's just like, look, you don't know. You don't have any information. You're just going off your feelings, and then you're judging. And when you just go off your feelings and you say shit, like, you're going to hurt people. And I think what he's saying is, you're going to hurt us. You're going to hurt me and Danielle. When you just make stuff up based on your like hunch, and you just say, yep, I know this. And I hope to God that I do not do that. I'm sure I slip into it sometimes, but I try to catch myself. You know, my whole thing here is that I do not know what's happening with these people. And I always try to word it in that way. Like, well, maybe this is happening, maybe that. I don't know. There's signs here, but I wouldn't know unless I asked them, if I got confirmation from them. And I believe that to be true. I'm not just saying that because my lawyers tell me to say that. I say that because it's real. I'm a therapist, and I actually do talk with people, and I know how long it takes to explore things and for people's self-awareness to emerge. And even then, it's tentative. Even when I have them in front of me, it's like, well, kind of looks like this is what's happening. I have no idea what's happening with these people, really. We use this as a jumping off point to think about ourselves. But anyway, it is something that I think a lot of people do, and I've observed a lot of people in sort of the discourse around this show. People just have this hunch and they say stuff. Now, if you have a hunch about like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, it's fine. That's just a character. But these are real human beings living real lives. And it's one thing to have a hunch and say it to your spouse while you're sitting on the couch and watching the show. It's another thing to go online and like attack them and have public, like very sure discussions around this or that. Like, these are real human beings. And as someone who has had those kinds of speculations made about me, people will forward me discussions going on online about me and my wife, for example. And I'm like, even if it's not hurtful, it's like, how can you possibly, what was it? I can't remember what someone was speculating about. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a long time ago, and someone thought that I was biased for someone. Who was it? I can't remember. Someone thought I was like overly forgiving of somebody, and maybe I was. I can be biased, and to say that is fine. It'd be like, I think Kirk's a little biased here. That's okay. It's a mature thing to say is, I think my bias is different from Kirk's bias. That's more accurate, because to say, I think Kirk's biased, it's like, and you're not. We're all biased. We all come from a place. We all have a culture. We all have a lens. We all have our wounds that we operate from. And so that's okay. And you can say, my bias is different from Kirk's bias. Kirk seems biased this direction. I seem biased this direction. That's totally fine. But what someone said was, I bet Kirk has a friend that is like him and is, trying to defend his friend through this character on 90 Day Fiancé. And although that seems really just kind of minor, it's like they're not like stalking me or something, but it felt, I don't know what it was about that comment. I was like, you're speculating about who I'm friend. You're speculating about my mind, and then you're speculating about my friends. Like, what? Like, you can ask me, you can comment, Kirk, do you have a friend that's like this? Because it seems like that's okay. But it's like they had made up their mind. And there's something about that I'm sure everyone on this cast has dealt with, particularly Mohamed, of people just having this hunch, and then they make up a story and they go with it and they have a discussion as if it's true. And it's like, no. One, why? Two, if you're ever the target of that kind of discussion, it's really hurtful. And I think that's what he was saying. He was like, when you speculate and you go off your feelings, you're gonna hurt someone. And I think what he's saying is, it hurt me. It's too hard for him to say it hurt me. You know what I mean? I wish he would have. I was just like, it hurts when you say that that I wasn't in love with her and that I was manipulating her and using her for a green card. It hurts my feelings because that wasn't true, and you're just making stuff up about me. You don't even know. You don't know what's in my heart, and you think you do, and you're just accusing me of things because of your hunch, because of just like how you feel about something. I'm a real person. I'm a real human being. So absolutely.
No, that's my personal life. I'm not going to share my personal life with you anymore.
Okay. All right. Okay.
There's better things that you can talk about.
Okay.
This is going to be the last time I'm going to appear on this TV show.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, totally fine, Mohamed. I get it. But why would you come on the show to say that? Why not just not come on the show? So I'm sure he's not making any friends on the internet with that kind of talk. So, yeah.
This is too much. I'm not giving you what you want. And I'm already 12 minutes late. 12 minutes late. I'm supposed to be out of here, okay?
So I didn't show the ramp up. I never thought I'd relate so well to Mohamed, but so I didn't show the beginning, but as soon as they, went to Mohamed, they're like, we have Mohamed here. And the cast is like, oh no. And they bring him up on the screen, and he comes in hot. He's just like, you people have no respect for me as a production crew, as a TV show. I've been waiting here forever. You know, and then Danielle's like, yeah, they told him it was just going to be an hour, but he's got to get to his work. And also, his immigration status might even be kind of in jeopardy if he shows up late to work. And of course, his job probably is in jeopardy. So, he has every reason to be concerned, but you're just like, well, why do you have to be such a jerkface about it? I have had this anger. I've been in Mohamed's shoes. I've been a podcaster for 13 plus years, and over the years, people will reach out to me as an expert to talk in, various different documentaries and whatnot, or to be interviewed for this or that, whatever, on the radio or print media, whatever. And there are times when I've been sitting there going like, you called me and set this interview up, and I'm sitting here ready to go on Zoom with my camera, and I've brushed my hair and I've set aside the time, and I'm sitting here like a doof just waiting for you to like honor your appointment with me. I was doing this for free as a favor to you, and you're just gonna ghost me. You're just gonna blow me off. Like, it really like gets to you, especially someone like me. I really value my time, and my days are very scheduled. And anyway, I've been in Mohamed's shoes. I think I understand where he's coming from. He doesn't. I've never like exploded on someone the way he is, but I get his frustration for sure.
This is a joke.
Damn, you don't give a shit.
This is a joke.
Okay.
I'm out.
Now, what's behind this? Does he feel mistreated by the show in general? Maybe like bad edits or something going on behind the scenes. I don't know. Does he hate the way the internet has reacted to him? I'm sure that's not a happy experience for him. Does this indicate something about his personality, that he can't tolerate these kinds of things? Does he have an anger management problem? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It was a disaster waiting to happen.
Now, last time he was on the tell-all, he said that was the last time he was going to be on the tell-all.
For real?
So we'll see. We'll see Mohamed next year. Robert, this is the first time meeting Mohamed.
So kudos. I don't know if I show this, but Danielle was, empathizing with him. It was like, well, he's already mad, I think, because of the scheduling issue. It sounds like he was told it was going to be an hour. He'd be done by a certain time so he could get to his job, and it went really late. So he was already mad, and then people on the show were pushing him, and then he exploded. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that his behavior is advised, but I think I understand where he's coming from. And Danielle seems to understand too.
Has good values, and that's kind of how I've always been my whole life, and she has a great heart.
Robert, before we let you go, anything you would like to say to Danielle?
I hope you enjoy yourself, and when you get back, and next Monday or Tuesday, I will maybe go on another date.
Okay, so he's being a nice guy, and he's asking her out on a third date. I think Danielle's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. and so, yeah. I mean, I'm glad for Danielle that she was able to have a good experience dating. And, I hope that, what do I hope for Danielle? What a journey. I think this is the last episode. I don't know if this is my last reaction video because the tell-all goes on, but I don't know, it's just interesting to contemplate, like, never watching Danielle again. Is that where we're at? I don't know.
If that's okay.
Yes, that's fine.
Robert, last date, there were 2 kisses. What's the next date?
You have to see we'll have to find out when it happens. I'm kind of old-fashioned, so...
All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.